Isn't we supposed to be having a fiesta?
Watch this.
All right, guys. So thank you guys for tuning in. Appreciate you guys hanging out. Spurs Film Room is brought to you by SpursTubeTv. Check out the website. You can go ahead and check out a bunch of videos, podcasts from different Spurs creators on the web. It's also the home of After the Buzzer. You can catch myself and my guest tonight, Zach Montana, on After the Buzzer this season, covering post games for you guys all season long. Thank you guys for hanging out. Go Spurs go. What's up, my international Spurs amigos around the world? Hope you're having a wonderful day. Thank you guys for tuning in. Alexander, thank you for being early. And Aaron, appreciate you guys stopping by, man. So appreciate you guys that are hanging out live. If you're watching live, let me know where you're from. Where are you hollering Spurs, go Spurs go from? And if you're watching post live, smash that like button down below and chant Go Spurs Go when you do. All right, guys. So on today's show, Zach and I are going to be going over some season expectations and kind of, like the twilight zone that we're in now. We're actually a young team, right? And we're not an old team anymore. We're not a bunch of old farts. We're probably one of the youngest teams in the league, right? So that's going to be a lot of fun when we get right back with Zach Montana from the Spurs Way Podcast.
2, 1, 0, and liftoff.
Hey, isn't we supposed to be having a fiesta?
Watch this.
Isn't we supposed to be having a fiesta?
It's a very special day here with Zach Montana, man. Those of you guys that have ever listened to a Spurs podcast, you probably caught the Spurs Way podcast, one of the first ones that you listened to. And I got one of the co-hosts with me from that pod, man. I mean, I was talking to Zach before the show started. I'm just like all you guys out here. I'm just like a fan and just excited to have Zach on and talk some Spurs, man, because I mean, back to like 2017, 16, 18, like I remember just digging y'all's podcast, man, for a while. So I appreciate you coming on, man, and just, want to say what's up.
Appreciate that, man. It's a pretty dope intro you gave me right there, man. I don't know, like I got to live up to some expectations right there, but I appreciate that.
Hey, man, bringing you out of retirement, man.
Oh yeah, hey, so you gotta do it sometimes.
Yeah, some of the people are just like, "What? He's gonna do post game shows? Awesome, man!" Because it's been a while, man. So, before we get started, man, just kind of wanted to go over the Spurs Way a little bit and wanted to let my viewers in a little bit on your story and on the podcast story. And I don't know if you want to just give them a little history review on
yeah. Well, I mean, if y'all have. Rob said it best, we've been around for a while and, we started in 2015. We're both still alive. Nothing happened. We're just kind of, life took its course and my co-host got a great job, got a big raise, and he doesn't have time for little old podcasts anymore. So that's just, and me, I'm working, I'm traveling. So it's just tough to get around. So, at the end of the day, it's a podcast, and we had to, say, we have our other priorities, but we're all here, and we still love the Spurs. We did not become fans or something like that. We're still fans. It's just life took its course.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, let's get into it, man. So a lot's happened this offseason, right? This is like a big pivotal offseason for the Spurs in a big way, man. Like we're finally taking that step towards the future. We've sidestepped the whole Kawhi deal and all that drama and everything that kind of the demolition that came with all that is kind of now settled. and we're able to kind of, see through that smoke and see what our future is. And kind of wanted to talk to you about your expectations for the season, man. So, after everything that's kind of gone down over this offseason, what are your expectations for 21-22?
Man, my expectations are it's a win-win. They finally, I agree with you with the Kawhi situation. I feel like they're finally kind of getting out of the fog from that, because that definitely left we had a lot of things to pick up from that. That definitely hurt what we were trying to build, and it put us like 3-4 steps back. And that's what the team has totally looked at that way. We've been struggling, but with the young guys, it's interesting because, as I say, it's a win-win. Because if they win, then we did our job. The scouting, the GMs, they did what they're supposed to do. Brian Wright, he did what he's supposed to do. But if they lose and it's not what it's supposed to be, and they're struggling, they get a high draft pick. So, I mean, at the end of the day, it's a win-win for us, the Spurs team, because they'll still be young next year. They'll have a bunch of great players under contract and be able to get a higher draft pick if they don't do well, pan out. But if they do win, then you clearly don't need that higher draft pick. You can keep doing what you're doing, picking mid-level first-round guys, and it worked if they're winning this year. So it's obviously Dejounte, all these guys have never really been high draft picks. So if they're going to win with them being 29 pick, 28 pick, Keldon 29 pick, Derrick White late 20s, so it's just like it's a win-win. That's the way I look at it. I'm excited. I'm excited to be old at the game.
Yeah,
I'm 28, and I'm like, yo, these guys are some kids out here. I'm used to being like, look at these old grandpas running around.
Yeah, right. I mean, exactly, man. That's kind of the second thing I wanted to get into with you was like the fact that, like you said, like our young guys are in this situation now to really be in a win-win scenario. Either they play, they do well, or they play, they get experience, and we lose, and we get a draft pick. But like you and I have been Spurs fans for probably ever, right?
Oh, I grew up with Spurs gear on, so you know how it goes.
That's exactly. So I mean, I wanted to ask you: is this like surreal for you? The fact that we're at this state where we're one of the youngest teams in the league, except our young guys aren't exactly young. You know what I mean? Like, they have experience. They have more than veteran experience for the most part. Veteran experience is like 3 years in the league. So, our young guys that are about to take that step are like a little bit older. They're not exactly rookies or whatever. Some rookies come in and get all the run right away, right? And that's just not what happens here in San Antonio. So,
I don't know.
What are your thoughts on it?
We'll learn that. It's about. We're still yelling at each other to this day. I mean, it's just the way it goes around here.
Yeah. So what do you think, man? Like the young guys being veterans, being ready to go. You confident?
And I'll go back to what we've done the past 3 years with bringing in having Rudy Gay around, DeMar around, these older vets around for these younger guys that Patty having these guys around to kind of show these guys the way, because when we really had when Manu retired, there was obviously the big three was gone. And you really had nothing to no culture, but you had these vets who have been around the game, can, teach them right and wrong, what to do, what not to do, what to expect, what not to expect. I think the group they had around these young guys definitely helped these guys grow. And I if there was ever, they might not have brought a lot of wins. They might have, had us tinkering with playoffs and not doing what we're expecting. Honestly, I think the group we had is going to be a good group to help these younger cats kind of understand what to expect and be able to okay, we saw Rudy do it. We saw DeMar do it. We saw Patty do it. And it's okay. And not that those guys are world beaters when they were here, but DeMar was great when he was a Spur. Rudy had his moments. Patty, we don't have to even get into what Patty was doing. So I feel like if you learn from those guys, you're definitely better in presence. That's going to help these younger guys grow. So I think that's a big plus. Even they're not on the team, but I think the fact that they've been around them, that's going to help. And as you said, these guys are old in NBA terms. They might be you look at the driver's license and it might say 23, 24, and this guy's young. But no, they're old. And Derrick White is old and considered he's going to be our old guy, and he's young. Yeah. So the guys we added, Doug, Zach Collins. We got Bryn back. I don't understand why people are hating on Bryn. I can throw Bryn back into being with one of those young guys, even though he's old too. And he's like 28, which is considered old on this team. When you look at it on the roster, you're like, 28, this guy's a grandpa on the team.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. I think we did well. I think with like what we brought in this summer and kept it young with what we brought in.
Yeah.
We didn't bring in really like any old guys with it. We brought in young. I mean, I think it's going to be a pretty exciting season. If you're a Spurs fan and you're not excited, win, loss, draw, whatever happens, it's going to be a fun season to watch.
Yeah, it's going to be the funnest season that we've had probably since the year that Kawhi he went down with Zaza. You know what I mean? Like that year we're making our run and all that noise, and then after that it's been, oh my God, it's been nothing but depressing. And and this year has all that upside.
And that's why I agree with. I mean, I think you're gonna have a lot of touches for guys that are not used to getting these amount of touches, these amount of shots per game, these amount of pick and rolls for them. DeMar, I mean, let's be honest. As much as DeMar had good moments for us, he was a vacuum with the ball, and it did get to him, and it stuck. And he had a lot of, he would pass the ball, he had his assist numbers, but the ball goes to the block, he dribbles down, does a little back down, gets a double, kicks it out, and you're back. And so it's like you're really not even getting Lonnie Walker's true talent. You're really turning him into a catch and shoot guy when he's more of this dude wants to dribble and run by people and use his moves and cross you up, hit a little step back. We saw Lonnie do that when he went off against Houston. Yeah. And so, and I think we're limiting these guys and putting them in kind of a bubble and saying that's what the Spurs do, but you're limiting players that's normally not what they do. And I think Lonnie will be better with more touches, more downhill touches, where he's getting a pick and roll instead of a catch and shoot situation. Yes. So I'm excited to see that.
Dude, absolutely, man. So I'm gonna go back to your veteran point because I think you're right on the money, man. It's like we kind of had to endure a little bit with the veterans that we had, and the fact that we were like putting so much on their plate, like Rudy, like really like go to work, Rudy, every single time you get the ball. Patty, don't turn down a shot. Matter of fact, Patty, we're gonna run like 70% of our plays for you when you're on the floor. You know what I mean? Like we dumped we put the dump truck in reverse and backed up the responsibility on those three guys for the past 2 seasons for sure. LaMarcus Aldridge, whatever, and a little bit before that. But this past season, they ate up everything, right? They ate up all the touches. But what everyone had something to say about it, right? Everyone always had something to say about those guys getting all the touches and the young guys not getting it. But what I think you're absolutely right in the terms of these young guys were still learning, and they're not rookies and sophomores, but they weren't necessarily ready to. I don't think they were ready to kind of take that load this past season. And I think watching Rudy and Patty and DeMar take that responsibility and them having to take that back seat and be passive and kind of see these guys work on a night-to-night basis, and they got it done for the most part. I think Rudy had a great season compared to maybe the previous two. Patty Mills was on another level, and DeMar played great too. I thought DeMar was an all-star snub at that point. So, I mean, they've seen what it takes, a lot of these young guys now. But like Dejounte and Derrick, let me ask you about those two guys. Dejounte and Derrick have been around maybe more of the old Spurs culture a little bit more than everybody else now, right? Because those two are the more veteran dudes on the squad. Longest tenure, right, with the team. Do you think they're going to be able to like shoulder that load and also like keep the Spurs way goggles on like for these young guys and take that role? Because I think they're going to have to.
I think if there's ever a person that is loyal to the soil, as they say, is DeJounte Murray, and he's gonna ride with San Antonio. And I think with him being around, even back in the season you mentioned with Kawhi getting hurt, he was back around then. He was playing big minutes that season when Tony Parker tore his quad. He got thrown in the fire. So he's been around. He's not like he's some new guy and he tore his ACL and then all this. I mean, poor guy. He's been through it. And I think last season you saw a big jump from him. And unfortunately with Derrick, you saw a lot of unfortunate toe injury lingering, getting it hurt on the first game back, and then COVID right after that. I'm not even going to judge what I saw from Derrick White last season because at the end of the day, he was – and then he has this little stretch and then he rolls his ankle again on some – and none of them are like – it'd be one thing if they're non-contact injuries or in like he's just – but he rolled his ankle on Jakob's size 22 foot. Like it's just unfortunate. These unfortunate plays, COVID. You can't. I mean, no, he can't stop that. And it's so unfortunate that he caught that right when he caught it, and he was on a tear. Yeah. And then it's just like boom, 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 and then the ankle roll, and the Spurs win one game the rest of the season after like when it's just so it's like this poor guy, And so I can't judge what I saw from Derrick last season, but I can judge what I saw from Dejounte. So if I'm going off that, I'm thinking that they both make a big jump. I have nothing but confidence in that group. Keldon, I've heard everyone talk about when players come back. I don't mean to switch it, but I just think every player on that these young guys should be super confident because everyone who comes back, every player I've heard interview after an Olympic, when you're on the team, you win a gold, you're feeling some type of way. You're like, oh, I'm the guy. I can do this. So I think you got a bunch of young guys, and I think those two guys, Dejounte and Derrick. I think if Derrick gets his, he was shooting like 6 threes, 7 threes a game before he got his ankle injury, and I'm cool with that. I'm down with that because I know that when he gets in a rhythm, we've all seen it. He can get going, and I don't think last year he ever really got in a rhythm. That's something you got. You know how it is. You got to play. You can't just, I'm broken my toe, come back. Oh, I broke my toe, come back. Oh, I caught COVID, come back. Oh, it's just like these guys. I'm excited. Those two guys in the backcourt together, defensive monsters. Yeah, they're gonna have your 1-2 locked on every night. They're both dogs, and I think Dejounte, that guy just has a chip on his shoulder. And Derrick, obviously, I think after last season, gonna have a chip on his shoulder. Yeah, man, dude, she hitting it right on the head, and I'm on that same page with you. And there's not a lot of people that believe like Derrick and Dejounte can like lead this like our organization into like the next step. And I think it has to be, and it's not if, it has to be those two guys. You know what I'm saying? And for every reason that you said, Dejounte is loyal to the soil, like you said. I'm going to use that now, man. I love that, and that's perfect to describe Dejounte. Yes, dude. And you're right. Everybody's up for like everybody has something on their shoulder this season. Like it's like you said, Keldon with the gold medal, and I'm on that boat. I agree, and I say that when you win a gold medal, if it's in a FIBA tournament or if it's in the Olympics, you just have a way better season the next year. You know what I mean? Confidence is crazy. You can't, especially in the game of basketball. You mean that's like you've seen it. You've seen how even the 2014 season when we got confident. These guys, you weren't going to stop them. I think confidence is mental. The mental game of basketball is so much, and I feel like if you come back with that edge, with like, I was playing with these dogs. I was running with Kevin Durant daily. Yeah. It's only going to get better. Yeah, the best in the world. I was going up against the best players in the world. Yeah. Iron sharpens iron. That's the way it always has been and always will be. You're not going to get better playing against weaker competition. I love that. I think that's Keldon said that before, if I'm not mistaken. I love that phrase, iron sharpens iron, because that takes me back to him going to Austin or staying in San Antonio, and he was just saying like he wants to compete at the highest level because that's what's going to make him better. You know what I'm saying? And all that, dude. So on the money, bro. And like Devin Vassell's coming into his sophomore year had a pretty good summer league, just ready to. I think he's just ready also just to show everything. You know what I mean? Because I think he's another sleeper dude that just has so much in his bag. Yeah, I was reading. The Spurs are posting some, Q&A stuff from Derrick White today, and they asked him who's taking the biggest jump, and he was basically saying, "I think all of us are going to take it. I can't. There's not one person that I'm going to point out. I think all of us are going to take a match." He's like Lonnie, Keldon, Dev. He named all these guys, and it's like I can't agree because I keep going back to it. These guys didn't play bad, and you put them in situations that are going to make them better, put them in better situations to score. Lonnie, Derrick, you're going to have a lot more of, I think you're going to get more of Spurs ball movement this season, where what we're used to, where the ball is just flying around. Yeah. Whoever scores, and we're going to keep it moving. Because we're really not going to – who's the vacuum? Who's going to suck up all the shots in the starting lineup? And on the second string? Because you really have no guy who, like, you can – like, okay, this guy is going to take 12, 13 and you really don't. Who are you going to look at, right? Who's doing that? We don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be more of a spread out type basketball like we're used to when we grew up watching the Spurs, when it was you had 8 dudes in double digits and everyone was getting minutes, everyone was cooking people, getting good shots. I think that's what it's going to be.
Yeah, man, we're built for that. I think we've done a great job building this roster to compete at that level with Doug McDermott, Zach Collins, and some of these new pieces that they're bringing to the team. I think only add to that formula. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, and I think they brought a bunch. I think with Zach Collins, I think you got a guy who will be something. He just once again, you got bad injury after bad injury, and you can say what you want, but you got him on a team-friendly deal. With I think he will have 1 season guaranteed, and next season is like a half season, and then he's not even guaranteed the 3rd season. So I mean, at the end of the day, people look at the contract like, oh my god, and no, it's only a season and a half guaranteed. Yeah. So if he doesn't pan out, he doesn't pan out. But I personally, it's not because my name is Zach. I don't have a bias. It's just because I think he's a good basketball player. He's a dog.
Yeah, he
likes competing. That's another guy who likes competing.
Yes, dude. And he's a smart passer. He's a good facilitator. He can spread the floor. He pushes himself on defense. I love it, dude. I everything that I've seen from Zach Collins, for sure. I love it, bro. And like you said, Bryn Forbes coming back into the mix. I don't have a problem with that. I think it's like a 100 for 100 when you're talking about culture and establishing like principles with all that. So and his shooting, like he's a great shooter.
If you don't want a guy on your team that shoots 47% from 3-point line, I don't know what you're smoking, because that's crazy.
Yeah.
You're crazy talk. The guy shot 47% from 3, and we can't hit a 3 to save our life.
I know.
So what are we asking for here, guys? You can go on Twitter and complain all you want and say we don't shoot 3s, but then you can't go on Twitter and complain when they sign a guy who shot 47%. They have it both ways.
Oh man, dude. And you know what's funny is that during this season, I can remember plenty of times like thinking, God dang, we should have kept Bryn. Why did we let him go, man?
We just need a shooter. I just need a guy who can just shoot.
Literally, just like one that's not Rudy Gay or Patty Mills, like just one other shooter on the floor.
It was funny though to see Twitter kind of erupt when that happened, because I mean, you have people who the whole season crying about not having a 3-point shooter or a consistent 3-point shooter, someone who can just sit in the corner. And honestly, if you want my honest opinion on Bryn, I think Bryn got sold. I think Bryn got put in a bad situation his final season here, final 2 seasons here when he was starting. And Dejounte got hurt, and they had him playing the 1 and 2. They had him playing the 2. Poor guy was getting matched up with the other team's number 1 every night. That's not what he's supposed to be doing. I understand that he's a great shooter. If you use him right, he'll hit 3 threes a game for you, and you keep moving. And it's like, okay, we him 14 minutes, and you can act. And that's what we couldn't really hide him in those previous seasons with him here. I think we can hide him with these lineups that we have. You can set him next to Dejounte. You can set him next to Derrick. You can put him on the 1 instead of having him play. He was playing the 2. Bryn is 6'2". Yeah. He should not be playing against – I remember CJ McCollum gave him the business, and it was just like, we were like, oh my God, poor guy. And I'm like, this guy sucks at defense. I'm like, no, this guy you're putting him in a bad spot.
Yeah. So let me ask you then, like, so you're leaning towards Bryn sliding in the point guard spot.
Well, I think you run him and Lonnie next to each other off the bench. That's my personal preference. I think them 2 off the bench is great. I really don't care where you play him. I think he's going to get minutes in this team, 12 to 13 minutes a game. I think we're going to be 10 deep, to be completely honest. We got a lot of players that are going to get minutes this season. So I'm excited. I think there's a lot of things there'll be a lot of moving pieces this season. The roster's still not even fully set. We have 17. I think we have 16 dudes still, and we got to narrow it down to 1 more. So I mean, I still think there's going to be another trade. That's just me. I think Thaddeus Young is not going to be on the roster when the season starts.
Yeah.
Which is great, because in the Spurs, Brian Wright hit it out of the park again, because then he's probably going to either get a draft pick, a young player back, something good. There's a reason. People were yelling and getting mad at this guy. I'm like, let him work. Let the guy do his thing. It's his. He's got to. As I reiterated when we were talking, we're still working out of that fog with Kawhi, so he's still doing a lot of stuff where he's got to he's maneuvering and he's working with
Yeah.
he got sold a bad bag of stuff. He had to work with it. You know, you're like, okay,
Yeah.
I got to deal with this, and I got to make the best of it. And I think with going young, with getting Thaddeus Young back with that DeMar sign and trade, you have a trade piece. Thaddeus Young was a great player last year.
Yeah.
Great player. So I think you get another good trade piece back, and you're going to get – I know Phoenix is in the talks with them. I heard Jalen Smith, whoever else comes with it. I mean, that's a top 15 pick that you're going to get back.
Yeah.
For it. So, and Spurs need to get big. That's a big issue we had last year. We had 2 centers. And it's like, how are we – I understand the game has gone small, but sometimes you got to go big with these teams.
Yeah.
Valanciunas is eating us alive in the paint, and we can't do anything about it because we have 2 centers that can't do anything about it. So, and I was just roster issues, you know.
Yeah.
What can you do? That's not Brian Wright's fault. Brian Wright, that was Brian. I think, you know, with bringing these guys, I think Zach Collins is the dog. You're gonna use him in a 4 and a 5.
Yeah.
I think the new guy Jock from Australia, I think he's gonna be a dog too. And that's what I think. We got a bunch of like, got a bunch of like dudes that are mad at the world, and I like that.
Yes, man, and we've kind of been a little laid back with our veterans and all that stuff. Like they play hard and they're pros and all that stuff, but yeah, they don't have that young like fight, you know, that wanting to prove something. And all these guys have something to prove, man. All of them have something to prove. Lonnie's in the extension year. Actually, this kind of leads into I was thinking about this right now when you were talking. You know what I've been watching a little bit of film lately from this past season, and I can't get over the fact that we need help like with defending the rim. We need size, right? And I think that's probably was along with shooting was our biggest issue, was that Jakob played great, but Jakob couldn't do it all by himself. And you know, when he's on the floor
gets into crazy foul trouble, unfortunately. That's not his fault.
And like we had someone else that, you know, we were running KJ at the small forward, you know, we're running DeMar at the 3, you know, so we're obviously going to be small, you know, but we can slide, you know, in my opinion, sliding Keldon up to the 3 and putting someone in at the 4 spot that can also defend the rim at a high level is one of the keys to like us just working in general. And for my solution, I wanted to ask you, and I want your honest opinion on Luka, because I think Luka and Zach and like a Jock Landale, like those 3 dudes can all bring something to the table at complementing Jakob at that 4 spot.
Yeah, my Luka take, I like the guy. I honestly, if you were looking to build like a basketball body, you're building that guy.
Yeah.
And so I think it's a between the ears thing. A lot of it, I think it's a between the ears. And I think, you know, if you give him a chance, he had moments last year. You know, I want to trust that the Spurs are just, you know, they even said, they were like, this guy is a few years away. I get it. And this is a few years away.
Yeah.
The few years are done.
Yeah.
You know,
he's got something to prove too, just like everyone else. Yeah.
Right. And you know, we can all post workout videos in the gym.
Yeah.
We can all do you know, we're beating our coach when no one's in the lane. I got to see
they
it.
give you one little half step of defense and then watch you just go.
Yo, I got to see it.
Dude.
I got to see it. I really had to see it. And I think he could be it. I think there's talent there. There clearly is. They've been scouting this dude since he was like 15. They've been having his eye out. He caught their attention for a reason. He's not like he's some bum.
Yeah.
So I think there's something there. Yeah. That's me. And I think I go back to saying we needed a 4, a legit 4.
Yeah.
We were playing with a 3 at the 4, and yeah, Keldon had a game where he had 20 rebounds or whatever, but that's circumstantial. That's against
he got exposed like against Jaren Jackson, right? In the playing game. That is a perfect example of why he needs to be the 3.
That's what I'm getting. That's exactly so. Like when he had the 20 rebounds, okay, great. They were probably running a dude Keldon size at the 4 too.
Yeah.
But then we're playing playoff basketball here. This isn't just another one of the 82. This is one of one to get in. So they're gonna, scout. They're gonna game plan, and they went right at that.
Yeah.
Valanciunas was eating. I was watching the game, just like, okay, Really,
He
guys?
had a 20 and 20 game, I think, in that game.
No, yeah, we couldn't do anything. He was tapping. He was doing all the stuff. Shots were getting tapped in.
Yeah.
I was at the bar with the buddies. I wasn't happy.
Yeah.
Wasn't happy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I agree with you. You had to have a legit four. Either if it's gonna be Jock, if it's gonna be Luka, if it's gonna be Zach Collins, it's gotta be someone who actually is like 6'10" and above and has some weight on him.
Yes, like let me just kind of go through those two teams just off the top of my head. Like Valanciunas is now in New Orleans, right? He's going to be him and Zion, right? Probably at the 4 and 5.
Yeah, good luck.
Let's go back to Memphis, and they got Steven Adams now, and it's going to be Steven Adams and Jared Jackson. Is it Jared Jackson?
Yeah.
Like, dude, two huge dudes, and like, you know, I mean, we all know like Anthony Davis and all those dudes too in LA. They're all big, and we just could not, bro. Yeah,
and they're like rebounding was a big issue. Rebounding was, so bad. And three-point shoot. And I think we addressed both. Mm-hmm. I think you get, Doug McDermott, obviously. We know what he does. You don't have to like come on here and be like, oh, Doug McDermott. We know the guy can shoot. That's what he does. That's just like, okay, it's a given. Yeah. And then you get Zach Collins. That's your 4 that can slide to a 5 and play small ball. He played a lot of minutes at the 4 his rookie season and then played some minutes at the 5. But I think Nurkic was hurt. There was some reason for that. He's a 4. So you're throw him at the 4. He's 6'11". He's legit. He's tall. He's a big guy. And so then I think you address the situation. Then you get Brent, 3-point shooter. I think this season should be interesting. I'm excited. I'm so excited to just get back because, to be honest, I'm very blessed to have season tickets within my family. So I go to these games, and when there's only 3,000 people in the games, it was super weird. And I get it. I'm sure being a player, being there playing, it was super hard to get up.
Yeah.
It was so different being a fan. It was so hard to get up for a game. Like, it's like, who am I going to celebrate with? Like, I'm not even allowed to high five the people next to me, at the games, So it's like, dang, it's like, so I'm really stoked to get back in there and have a full stadium yelling for the young guys. They deserve it. They deserve it. They've gone through 2 weird seasons. And they've been grinding their butt off. I know they've been grinding their butt off. So they deserve us to be behind them 100% win-loss draw, as I said, because it might not be what we're expecting. It's not going to be a 60-win season. It's not going to be a 50-win season. Who knows what, 40, 30? Hopefully, that's what we're banking on because that would mean it was a successful season. Yeah. If you're in the 20s, you better hope it's over 24 so Pop gets his most wins of all time. That's all I'm saying. Because that's really what I'm hoping on.
All right. I like that. I think it's got to be over 24, man. I think it has to be.
No, I'm just saying, if it's in the 20s, you got to be over 24 because Pop needs that.
Yeah, if people talk about, should we tank? I'm like, no, we just won't. It won't. Like, there's just no way. Like, we're going to play our tails off on defense. And when you do that, you're not going to tank. You're not in a position to tank. You know what I mean? You're in a position to win basketball games. So
there's no reason for them to go into the season and be like, we want to lose.
Yes.
That's not the way it's going to be. I think if you lose when playing hard, it's going to be beneficial for the team. It's not that I don't want to be some team that trades away everybody and is like, okay, we're trying to lose. If we lose because we lost fair and square and these guys are working their tail off and we just don't have the talent, then I'll tip my cap to it and I'll be understanding. Yeah. But I hate like what Houston did last year, trading everything, like getting rid of everything. It's just that's not what I think the Spurs will ever do.
No.
So that's not. I don't think we tank. I think if we lose, we just lose and we just call it a day, and then we get a good draft pick, and then everyone's happy.
Yeah. Shout out to Jude McLaren in the chat room, who's also a Spurs Tube TV contributor. He's gonna be doing post game shows over there as well. All right, so after talking with you, man, I really appreciate you coming on. And I think we're on the same page with these young guys being ready to go and ready to take that leadership role. And I think they're ready. I think that they've all been just like salivating at the mouth for these touches and for these minutes that they're about to get. So it's all about them being ready, putting in that work, being ready to bring it on a day-to-day basis and soak it up, man.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting to see. I think you're going to get a lot of ups and downs this season, a lot of great games where you're like, oh, my God, this is it. And then you get some games where it's like, come on, guys, where was that? But I would rather them I'm more of an on-the-job training guy. I don't like learning sitting around. So these guys are only gonna get better by playing. You never get better by watching film of other people. You got to get out there and go do it.
Yeah, you need to go play. Yeah, man, I'm looking at this schedule and the schedule's tough, but I'm doing like this little mini series of the schedule, breaking it down like 20 games at a time. And I've done 2 episodes so far, so about 41 games into the season that I've kind of gone over. And it's a tough schedule. It's not easy. Those first 20 games, there's a few more gimme games in there, but out of those first 40 games, like the first half of the season, it's going to be tough. But I am what I've been saying is that challenges are good. And these guys are only going to get better. Like you said, iron sharpens iron. And we need to go up and step up to some challenges where we come up short. Some will meet. We're learning along the way and getting better. But consistently being tested at that level that we're about to be this season, I think it's only going to do great things for us, bro.
Yeah, there's going to be on-the-job training, man. You're going to get better. You're going to play these guys. They're just going to – if they're better than you, you're going to learn how to play against them, and then you're going to get better. That's how those things work. I never got better playing against scrubs. I never got better playing against nobody. You get better playing against someone in front of you that's trying to stop you, and you got to figure out how to beat it. And then you do it, and you're like, okay. Yeah. Confidence, and we're rolling.
That's right. That's how you do it, man. Well, thank you so much, Zach, for stopping by. Shout out to everyone that's hanging out with us live, and shout out to all you guys that are watching post live. Make sure to go ahead and check out Zach's stuff. Zach, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you?
I am on Twitter at the Spurs Way Podcast and Zach_Montana, and on Instagram is the same thing. It's the Spurs Way Podcast and Zach Monty 14. So check me out. It's been nice checking up with y'all, but I'll be back. Yeah, man. It's going to be a lot of fun, man, having you on the After the Buzzer this season over there on SpursTubeTv, man. So it's going to be fun. Great, man. I'm excited. All right, man. So go Spurs, go. Zach, thank you for coming on, man. And let me see. So Spurs Nation, thank you for hanging out. Smash that like button down below. Chant "Go Spurs, go" when you do. It sends good luck waves out to Spurs fans all over the world. Make sure to hit that notification bell so you get notified when we go live and when we drop new content, new clips, new film room breakdowns on this channel. Hit that notification bell so you get notified. And subscribe to this channel if you haven't subscribed to it already. All right. So if you want to go above and beyond to help this channel, go ahead and check out the Patreon link in the description below. You'll get Patreon only podcast access. You get giveaway entries, merch discounts, and shout outs and all that stuff. Right. So thank you guys so much for supporting this show. Go Spurs, go. And we'll catch you guys next week. Stay tuned to the channel. I'm working on some little film room clips for the next few days, right, to try to get some more content out this month before we really get going and training camp starts here. I think September 28th, right? So we're about to get going, and we're gonna be ready to rock and roll here on Spurs Film Room and on SpursTubeTv. Go ahead and check out the website SpursTubeTv.com. Go Spurs, go. Have a great night, Spurs Nation.